welcome to another episode of the Global Game Pod, where we focus on one thing and one thing only, and that's football.
What a goal from Ronaldo! It is absolutely magnificent! It is David Beckham!
With Coach Rudy and friends, this is Global Game Pod.
3, 2, 1, let's go. Yo, 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 yo. What's happening, people? Welcome to another episode of the Global Game Pod, brought to you by CKB Interiors. You want a kitchen, bedroom, visit their website. Right, on to my guest, special guest today. Someone I didn't know a month or two ago, and now he's like one of my closest friends. It's mad how the world works. And the thing is, he doesn't even live close to me. He lives in bloody Oxford. He's a coach. He's a brilliant coach. He's the current under-23s coach at Oxford City. Previously done some coaching, but I'll let him tell us about that. So, Coach Waheed, welcome to the Global Game Pod.
Thank you for having me, bro.
Bro, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. Yeah, how you been, man? How you been during these times? How's life in quarantine, bro?
It's all right. It's all right. Just got to keep motivated, keep busy. You know how it is.
Yeah, now, of course, we're all in the same boat. We can't physically go out there and coach. So what kind of things you been doing to keep yourself occupied, man?
To be honest with you, pre-season prep has already started. So the head coach of the under-23 side, Ed, shout out Ed. He's brilliant, man. Like he's already straight to work. He's already given us presentations, little tasks to do. So it's fully underway, man. So we're keeping busy with preparing things for next season already.
Brilliant. That sounds good, man. That sounds good. So we wanna dive into you. We wanna know your story, man. We wanna know how it all started. How did you get into coaching? But we're gonna start earlier than that. So did you play the game?
Yeah, man. My parents didn't really get me involved, to be fair. Probably a similar story with most of us, yeah. But I've got a brother who's 10 years older than me. So he was like a parent figure to me as well. So he's the one who got me into football at under 8s. So at 7 years old, got me involved, take me to all the games. And I played right through to under 18s. I was at under 18 at Oxford City, actually.
Wow.
And then I left the game at that point. More out of, I kind of lost a little bit of love. And funny enough, it was because of the coach. The coach I did not get on with. For whatever reason, he never treated me in a decent way. Like I just fell out of love with it a bit, to be fair. And then went off, did further education. I went to uni. Didn't even play football at uni. I had like a grouch against it, like I wasn't going to play again.
Yeah. I feel that, man. I'm hearing that from a lot of people recently. You know, like they lose the love of the game between 16 and 20, and it's time to find a common theme in it.
Yeah, bro. It was just that. It was like I went to uni, and don't get me wrong, I still watch football. Obviously, I'm an avid Liverpool fan.
What is it with you, lot? Why do I keep interviewing Liverpool fans? Like, what's going on here?
I'm glad you're not wearing the Man United stuff today. I told you I weren't going to come on if you wore it. But so I still watched the game. I still had a passion to watch it and follow it, but playing it, I just kind of like, I just don't know. I just had an abrupt stop at 17 years old. And then it's only when I finished uni and I was working a full-time job did I get like a little window back into it through a family friend, and then I just started coaching from there. But
what age did you start coaching?
So I finished uni 21. I went into and I tell a lie, when I was at Oxford City, my cousin in Slough ran a youth club.
Okay.
And he asked me to go down there and coach the boys. So I was coaching lads who were 15, 16, my age anyway. So I did that. I actually really enjoyed that. And I did do some summer work at like play schemes and like holiday camps and stuff as a volunteer between the ages of 16, 17, 18, up until I went to uni. When I come back from uni is when I got into it more. I started doing my like qualifications and stuff. I probably did my first qualification when I was 21, 22-ish. And that was purely through a family friend who was a teacher, and she just turned around to me knowing how much I used to play football and things. she just said to me, we're looking for a coach at the school to come and do a couple of hours in the afternoon. I went and did it. I absolutely fell in love with it from there, and I did my badges from there, and so on and so forth.
And like, when did you get your, like? So you got your own business, right? Let's start on there, man. So what's the business? What's the business model here? What is this?
Yeah, so I haven't got a creative mindset, so it's literally WR Sports, which is my initials. that's literally it.
Sometimes the most simplistic things are the best. Trust me.
That's it, bro. That's it. So as I mentioned, this family friend, she's a teacher. She turned around to me and said, could you come in and do a couple of afternoons of coaching? The head teacher was really good to me. He really liked what I did and the rapport I built with the kids. So he actually asked me to come on board, freelance if you like, and just do a couple of hours. So I used to work. It's just funny how things work out, but I used to work 5 minutes away from the school. So on my lunch break at 1 o'clock or just before 1, I'd go to the school, I'd deliver the 2 sessions, I'd go back to work, and I'd have to stay an extra hour and a half after work to make up the additional time, but my manager was happy to let me do it. But the money I made from from that 2 hours was the same as I'm making a whole day working. So I just thought to myself, do you know what, I could give this a crack, you know. So I just reached out to a few schools, a few people I knew, and it started from there, to be honest. But I started it 5 years ago. Now we've got like 16 schools across Oxfordshire that we're contracted with. We deliver PE for. We do our own little football development centre as well. Something similar to yourself, but we don't do it as a part of a league. It's more just like an additional training session that they can come to alongside their grassroots club, if you like. Yeah, that's us, man. That's the kind of stuff we're doing.
That's weak. So when you go into schools, it's multi-sport, I believe. I probably.
Yeah. So it was football initially. So when I first started the business, I just branded it as a soccer schools, very similar to yourself. It became a full-time job probably within a year. So within a year, we were going into enough schools for me to make some, to make it a full-time income. However, where we were finding a stumbling block was some schools didn't want to bring in a specific football coach. They wanted someone in who could do the whole curriculum. So we had to rebrand it quickly, but it's worked out. It's worked out, to be fair. Like,
so do you just employ coaches that are like experts in their field in the different sports, or have you gone on and got other qualifications in other sports as well?
Me personally, no. So I've always just stuck to the football qualifications. My staff are a mixed bag. So some of them have got a footballing background, some have got a background in cricket, some have gone through like football scholarship programs where they get sports coaching and physical activity qualifications, level 2s and 3s. So I've got some coaches who are a level 3 in delivering PE, so they're pretty much across the board. Which is good, and it's important as well to have it. We've even got people with degrees now, so we've got a couple of people on board who are degree level sports coaches or have done like a sports coaching discipline degree at uni. So yeah, we've got a mixed bag of people, different experiences, but they're a good bunch, to be fair. And yeah, they're happy to deliver across the board.
Nah, that sounds quality. So, but obviously, I love that what you're doing there in terms of you're in the schools and whatnot. So I assume like you do work primary, secondary, or both.
Mainly primary.
Mainly primary. So I assume your soccer school's full of boys that you coach like on a daily basis, nah?
So with our development centre, we're doing 1 day a week in different locations across Oxfordshire. So we see the boys once a week, but we bring them together to play fixtures against other development centres. So one day, hopefully, you'll give me a shout out. We can come down and have a little game and that.
100%, man, 100%. I have to. I don't know how the parents are going to feel about travelling all the way to Oxford, but
we'll find a middle ground somewhere. Don't worry.
Listen, I'm calm like that. I love making my boys travel. I want to give them the full experience. You get me, like.
100%, man, 100%. And the thing is, like, we're trying to bridge that gap between what an academy environment is and what they're getting at grassroots level. So we don't want to take them out of their grassroots club because there's massive social benefits to doing that.
Yeah.
Equally, we want to expose them to what are full-time, highly qualified coaches that we have. So, the people who are delivering on our development centres, they're not just coming in and doing an hour session a week. They are full-time members of staff. So they are planning throughout the week. They're doing reports on players. I think they're doing. We have profiles on our players.
Okay.
So, that we're thinking really hard about their development. So we're trying to give them a high standard of coaching, but just a taste of it once a week, as opposed to an academy environment where obviously once they've got to 8, 9, 10, not 9+ years old, they're going into 3 days a week and stuff, which is sometimes a challenge, for certain parents. So it's kind of a middle ground between the two. But then coming, to add to the experience, we need to play the games against people like yourself and other local development centres out there, so that we're giving these kids the opportunity to compete at a high level as well. It's not just about the training; they have to compete at that level. So
yeah, definitely. I think that's massively important at young level, that we have this conversation all the time. That is it about winning or is it about development? And I've always been a firm believer. I'm very competitive. Naturally, I'm naturally very competitive. It doesn't matter what it is. I mean, I just played a game of Ludo with my 5-year-old, and people are going to think, nah, you didn't. Yeah, I won. I did not let him win. It's not happening. Yeah, it ain't happening. No. Look.
Sport as much as we are, bro, and not be competitive.
One day, the thing is, one day he's going to beat me. And I want him to enjoy that moment. So I'm doing him a favor, really. Like, now, come on. You've been in a session with like 6, 7-year-olds, and they're doing something, and you're starting to get a little bit frustrated because they're not doing it exactly how you want them to do it. And then you just get on there. You have that moment of just brilliance. I know you don't like playing the game no more. And I'm very much the same in that sense. I don't really like playing it anymore. But you get that one moment of brilliance where the ball just sits perfectly and you ping it and it hits top bin, and you just do a little bit of that. Like, see what I mean? Like, it's happening.
Well, yeah, that's true, bro. Like, don't get me wrong. When I go to training, whether it's with the girls, whether it's with the lads, whether it's with the kids that I'm with, getting out and playing, I have to do it a little bit, man. Like I have fallen back in love with it again massively. But it's just via the coaching route now.
Yeah.
Until I bust my ankle, trying to do some silky skills with the under 13 lads that I was coaching, and then I broke.
Nah, you didn't. No way.
I did, man, and they mugged me off for ages about it. They've not let me live it down.
I don't think I'm gonna let you live it down. I need to know how this happened. How the hell you do that?
Bro, basically, we were doing a playing out from the back exercise. I was doing a session for the under 13. So again, part of our company, we work with grassroots clubs as well. There's a particular grassroots club in Oxford called Summertown Stars, probably the biggest grassroots club in the county. We're contracted to them, so we deliver sessions for them as well. And I was doing the under 13 boys, and they are quality. They're a really good bunch. I love getting involved in doing sessions with them. And we were doing a playing out from the back exercise, and I was just a server. That's the worst thing about it.
Wow.
I was a server.
Wow.
Comes out, it skipped away from me. It's a wet surface. I'm in training, so that's my own fault, yeah? I went to do a Cruyff turn, and I just missed the ball, and I've just rolled my ankle, and it snapped. That's it. It's simple as that, bro. I can't even say I was doing some mad skills.
So let me get this straight. You broke your ankle in front of 12 and 13-year-old boys. Unopposed, attempting a Cruyff turn. This is mad. That's my snippet right there. Done. Done. You've sold this for me. It's done.
And I'm still not recovered fully, bro, man. That's the hard part.
Listen, injuries can happen anywhere, but wear correct footwear, man.
Yeah, I know. If there's anything to take away from this, is that, innit?
Yeah, 100%. Now, but coming back to the more serious side, you mentioned there while you were speaking about whether it be boys or girls, and you said the girls bit. So I want to know about your coaching journey. Obviously, you've got your company, and your initial coaching journey starts in a school. Your development center starts side by side with your coaching there. So I'm assuming that during this time, were you too busy to think about where you wanted to go in your coaching pathway, or did you have a plan set?
To be honest, bro, it happened so quickly. Like getting back into football and just coaching in general happened in schools. Like it wasn't planned. That wasn't my career goals. When I came out of uni and I was already in a full-time job at that point, I wasn't thinking about going back to football in any kind of position, to be honest, other than just enjoying it as a fan and a spectator. I didn't have any plans for it. It just happened itself. These things are planned, but they happen. You said it right. I didn't know where I was going to go with it or what the end goal was or where I wanted to go. I was just getting back into enjoying working with kids, which is really good fun, and putting together session plans and trying to work on how I'm improving these young people in this sport, but as people as well. A lot of discipline comes through sport. So at the time I was thinking, probably in quite a teacher mindset, to be honest. When I did it, I did my level 1 badge as I was working in that school alongside, and that opened my eyes a lot because they teach you a lot about not specifically how to coach so much, but more just about what the priorities of coaching young kids are, and that opened my eyes a lot. I did my level 2, and I think I got onto my level 2 purely because it would sell me and my company better. It was a business move. It wasn't, again, it still wasn't about me developing as a coach. On my level 2 course, obviously you meet 20, 30 other people in the same boat as you. And someone I met there, he just finished uni, and he was at Oxford City working in the first team with the ladies. And I thought to myself, that's wicked. Like, that's a really good position to be in. And I didn't even know you could do something like that as a level 2 coach, to be fair. Like, I was, again, this all happened so quick, and my knowledge of the industry is not much or whatever. And he just goes to me, if you're up for it, and I'll bring you through, come through. And it was from there I thought to myself, I could actually do this as like a team thing. Like, it just wasn't in my plans or whatever. I was just thinking business wise, to be fair. I never thought about going back to a club environment, because last time I was in a club environment at Oxford City as well, unfortunately, I didn't enjoy it. I lost a lot of love for it, but that was that individual that did that for me. It was never the club. It was never the environment of being in a team or whatever. But I'd forgotten all that over the last 5-6 years since I last was involved with a team. Yeah. So I went through. I had a chat with the manager at the time, who I still have a good relationship with now. And he was like, yeah, come in and get involved with our reserve side. And I was there for a bit. I really enjoyed it, and just got a buzz for what I'd like to think is like a higher level and more detailed side to the game, and a more tactical side. Because obviously working with kids, you don't look at, or very rarely, or you don't really look at the tactical side, especially when you're working with 30 kids in a class. We're just thinking about very simple skills and building blocks. Yeah. Because you've got so many kids to worry about and you're on your own, right? But, I'm going into a team where people are set positions, set mindset. They're going into a competition every weekend, and you're starting to think about the game more as a whole and the mental side of the game a lot more. And that was just that's what sparked it. It sparked for me that love again, to be honest.
So so your first job straight away, like, so you're on your level 2, and then you go into the women's reserve side, at Oxford City. Now, I need to go into your mindset for this now, because this is massive. Because obviously, I see it. Like, I would happily take up a position in the women's game. Yeah. However, I know this. I can't categorically say I know, but I have a very good idea that when I come home with this idea, the likelihood is I get laughed at.
Yeah. Yeah.
What was the experience for you when you come home and you tell your family that I'm going to take a position up with the Oxford City ladies team?
Do you know what's crazy, bro? Like, I understand why you think like that. And I think a lot of our traditional aspects of our culture is obviously would lead you to think like that as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, when I say that, I mean, like, we go, a lot of our youth being told to just, you can't be, you can't keep, I don't know how you even say it, man, but like, obviously, like, no relationships and this and that. Do you know what I mean? So,
mate, we've been social distancing from girls for years, bro. This is not new to us.
That's our cultural thing, right? So obviously, I 100% know why you're saying that, innit? And I think it's clear. I think it's worth saying for your viewers, explaining that's the situation. Do you know what I mean? But I don't know, man. Like, it was all right. Like, obviously I'm married. My missus was fine with it. She might have had like a little few things, choice words she had for me, like, you know what I mean? You know, behave this, that, rah, whatever it might be. But to be honest with you, they were fine, man. They were just like, it's all part of a development journey, innit? And I think
100%.
it's the same with any industry you go into. My dad is massive on working hard and setting goals within an industry. So my dad was an electrician ever since he come to this country, and he went from working on production lines, doing like screwing something in, and then next thing comes and screw, to then, you know, going on and being the manager of that whole division. Do you know what I mean? So like, for him, that's the principle that matters. Whatever the industry is, that's what matters. So I'm entering this industry. I think I've been given a good boost of where I'm starting in the industry at as well, by the way. So I think it's just trusting the process and making sure that I go in and do it for the right reasons and with the right goals and visions, if you like. And that's how I've always treated it. Do you know what I mean?
That's a great mindset to have. And like I said, I would never turn my nose up at a job like that in the ladies game, because it's a growing market, the ladies game. And you'll definitely learn a lot from it.
100%. I have not regretted anything that I've done in. I mean, there's been highs and lows, and there is with any project that you take on.
Yeah, of course.
But what I've learned in that time is indispensable to me. Do you know what I mean? And I thank every single person who's been on that journey so far with me, because it all shapes you as a coach, as a person, whatever. So
yeah, 100%. And the thing is, like, you started with the reserves, and then you became a manager, right? Am I right in saying that?
Yeah. So I was with the reserves. For about 6 weeks. I would say about 6 weeks, and then I was asked to go and be the first coach. So I went in, and as an assistant coach. So there was 3 members of staff plus me then in the first team that we finished that season off with. So I came into the season around just before Christmas. After Christmas, I'd gone over to the first team, and then I was with them through to the end of the season. That was a wicked season. And again, working under 2 very experienced coaches, and the guy who I met on my level 2, who again, I learned so much from him as well. But even though he was a similar experience to me, just the theoretical knowledge he had, especially from being at uni and the degree side of it, it actually has unlocked so many doors for me, man. Like, I went and spoke to his lecturer at Oxford Brookes, and just opened up a whole new theory of developing players that you wouldn't get on your badges, for example.
Yeah, of course.
And again, that's just all part of my journey and the people who shaped it, if you like. So so that was that season. The following season, that manager had left, and a new gaffer had come in, and he asked me to go and coach the under-18 girls. So I'd actually went from the reserve side to the first team to then the under-18s, which I wasn't happy about at the time. At the time, I was feeling a bit frustrated. We had a good season with the first team. I was just getting my feet under the table, however you like to call it, and starting to kind of just crack on and know the players and whatever. And obviously, then he's asked me to go to the under-18s. But actually, again, I did the whole season actually, but midway through that season is when I got the first team manager's job at City. But again, that was my first experience managing. And I didn't know there's a difference between managing and coaching.
Well,
they don't tell you this on Football Manager, bro.
Nah. They don't.
Yeah, it's entirely different. And I had to deal with a lot of tears that I probably caused. Do you know what I mean? But again, highs and lows. But I learned a lot, man. I learned a lot again from that situation. And to be honest with you, bro, like, looking back at it, I've been thrown into a lot of situations that I probably I didn't even have the CV for. But going into the reserve side of Oxford City, and some of those players were ex-Oxford United playing in the WSL. Very good players. And I've just rocked up in there, and I'm now in charge of delivering the sessions. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I've been put into the first team where, to be fair, I was given a bit of a backseat. it was a learning opportunity for me. It was great. The following season, I'm now asked to manage under 18 girls, and I've never managed in my life. Even in my company at that point, we probably had 1 or 2 casual employees. It wasn't like now where we've got a team who are contracted, whatever, full time. So just being chucked into these different scenarios. But to be fair, bro, like, it's the best way to learn. You make tons
100%.
of mistakes, and to be fair, I look back at it and I made loads of mistakes, and I probably upset people along the way as well.
Yeah.
I mean, never in my intention to upset people, but I probably did, and they probably look at me in a certain way or whatever. Then, hopefully, that's past now. But it's all part of that learning process, man. So I did that with the under 18s. We had a good season with the under 18s, to be fair, and it was a massive culture change as well, because they went from. I would like to think we've turned them more development focused than what were probably very socially focused as a group. And I think they did really well. And some of those players are now first team at City now.
That's really good. I think that's one of the best things to see, though, when you go into a younger age group and then you see their development into the first team. I mean, that's the reward in your work. And I mean, you only play. I always say, coaches, we play small parts in all players' journey. You know, I'm not one to be like, oh yeah, I developed him and I developed her and I developed him. No, we all play a small part, and because a player goes through many different coaches in their lifetime. You hear me? So I think if they take the positives out of all their coaches and take the good points, which I'm sure you passed on, and then when you get as a coach, then you get to see that same player make it. There's a sense of pride in you as well. That you know what, I helped that.
Yeah, bro, 100%, man, 100%. And it's the same. That's the same, like, with these girls, but also with the kids we have in our development centre as well. When they go on to academies or elite talent centres or whatever it may be, when they're just pushing that level of development because they've got the confidence from you to do so.
Yeah.
Or you support it, if you like. So, yeah, man. But going back to the journey, yeah, that's it, man. So after that, the manager who came in had left at Christmas. And then I got asked to do it to the end of the season initially.
Yeah.
And again, it was chucked into it. And that was the hardest period of my journey, man. 100%. That was a tough half a season that we had. We ended it well, and there was success. There was silverware at the end of it. But it was just that how I managed under 18s, I could not manage a senior side of that.
What was the difference? Like, what did you find was the main or some of the differences there?
I think with the under 18 girls, we're talking 15 to 17-year-old players who have a level of respect for your authority because that's just how they've always been. They're still in like a student teacher frame. I think that's just an opinion. But when you get to, so you got to think now I'm probably 24 at this point. I'm now the first team manager. And some of these girls are older than me. Some of them have, they're not students anymore. They're in careers, and stuff like that. So I can't be, I think when I was the under 18s manager, I was quite teacherish. I was quite firm. Especially because we were changing that environment from a social to a more developmental environment. Now, when I come into the first team, there was already tons of social issues, I think, in terms of how the squad were gluing together. It was a bit cliquey. It wasn't ideal, if you like. So obviously trying to make changes to that, I approached it probably in the same manner as I approached under 18s, and it just didn't work the same. It didn't have the same effect. So yeah, it was hard, man, and I didn't have the respect of every player in that dressing room, if I'm honest with you. And there was too many like those little individual battles over things like that. And I didn't know how to pick my battles, and I didn't know how to manage different personalities. I didn't know none of that. I just approached it all the same. Even I would say up to, so I've been in that first team role up till now, until very recently, and I would say that I left still learning. Do you know what I mean? I left still trying to understand those battles and trying to understand how each individual works. Management stuff is difficult, man.
Yeah.
I found I've learned a lot, but still tons to learn.
100%. And I think we don't stop learning. I keep saying it in pretty much every podcast that I put out. We never stop learning. We're never going to stop learning. If we stop learning, we're done. That's the end of it, you know? And it doesn't matter how much experience you got in the game. Doesn't matter what you've done, at what level you've done it, but you can always learn something from somebody else. And in your case, it happened to be the ladies' side, and you've been chucked in there. You're quite open and you're quite honest, and I respect that, because not many people do that. Some people will make excuses, you know, it was like this, it wasn't run properly, blah. But you're kind of taking ownership in it and saying, yeah, you know what, I probably didn't come at it with the right attitude, or I probably didn't come out with the right mentality, and I didn't know what was happening. But you didn't fold. I think that's the most important thing. You didn't fold, and because of it, you obviously got yourself this move to the 23s, which. How do you look at it from a personal perspective? How do you look at it in terms of your development? Is it an upwards move?
Yeah, so I think I had done all I could for the girls' side. Like, I don't think I was the right person to take it any more forward. I think we managed to turn it around from that half season where it was difficult. We had to make a few personnel changes, but actually we had a really strong. I had my first full season was strong. We had 2 cup finals. We finished 3rd in the league. It was a very good first full season, despite loads of changes, loads of new players coming in, coaches changing, etc. So loads and loads of changes. It felt very much like I put my stamp on it.
Yeah.
And actually, that season I felt was miles better in terms of the level of engagement, respect to the players, etc. I think we managed to make a massive culture change, which was really positive. Then into my third season, and then obviously this is where I've now moved across. It just got to a point where I don't feel like I could take it any further. I think it needed someone more experienced with more contacts in the women's game. Maybe bring in additional players who could improve the quality. I'd done what I could with the crop of players, but I just think it needed a little bit something new. So I had already spoken to the club and said, look, this will be my last season. If I can do something at the club, fantastic. And then it just happened to be that the under-23s manager and coach, they train the same night as us. They're a good bunch of lads. I just went over and had an honest conversation and said, look, this is what I'm doing at the end of the season. What are you guys thinking? And they had a little chat and came back to me quite quickly and showed like a real want to have me involved, which felt nice. Do you know what I mean? So I spoke to the club. I facilitated, I supported their look for a new manager and stuff. It was all done really well. And the club have always supported me, to be fair. Like, even though I've been chucked into certain roles and whatever, they've always backed me to do it, and they've always given me the freedom to go and do it how I wanted to do it. So I can't have any complaints about how the club have been with me, and even supporting my move across. They were very happy to help me go and make that move across. I think the under-23s is a big role because it directly feeds into the main squad and what is got to be considered, like, you know, that's the main playing squad, right? That's where that makes a big difference financially. So they've entrusted me to go and do that, and they never once thought about it twice. They were happy and they said it would be a good fit, and they were happy for me to do it. So big respect to the club for supporting my journey. And to be fair, for me, roundabout way, going back to your question, I think it's right for me, and it's a positive step for me. It may not be for everyone, but for me, it's a definite step in the right direction. One, because of the cultures I'm now working with. So before, as the manager, I'm in charge of the syllabus, I'm in charge of the philosophies, the formations, whatever we're doing. I'm now underneath someone who is incredibly knowledgeable, bro. Like Ed, who's the head coach, the guy's a genius, man. Like, the amount of information and detail is ridiculous. And I now get to tap into that firsthand, and I get to have conversations with him and pick up the phone to him just yesterday, and we had a 2-hour conversation around certain roles that players should have or are going to have for next season. And I just think, one, he's got tons of knowledge and he's happy to just share it. But two, I've made suggestions to him, and he does. That's a good point, and he goes away and looks at how we can fit those in. So I'm bouncing ideas is important for me.
Yeah. Like you said, isn't it? It's all about that constant learning, which is massive for our development as coaches. And the thing is that so your journey has been like in terms of the coaching side of it at Oxford City, which is it was development, win, back to now development, really, innit?
Yeah.
And then the next step has to be the real winning side of it, because I need to see you in the dugout.
Do you know what, bro? Like the management stuff, I'm happy to leave it to someone else. So Darren, who's the manager of the U23s, I know I spoke about Ed a lot, and I've given him a lot of praise and that. But the work Darren does, from a manager's point of view, is crazy as well, man. Like even with me, I'm not a player, yet he messages me every day. He makes sure every day he's checked on me and I'm all right. Like that level of detail, I never even considered that. That's probably something that I should have done. Do you know what I mean?
But yeah, see, that's what you're saying. You're learning from it. Like, this is what people don't. We're thieves. Someone said it to me. Who said? I think it was Trishan I was speaking to, and he said coaches are the biggest thieves in the world. We're just thieves, and we nick ideas. That's how we get better.
Yeah.
We would not get better if we didn't see somebody else do it a different way. If everyone did it the same, and we all played the same way, football would be quite boring, to be honest. But I think it's massively important to bounce off one another. It's massively important for you to see stuff that he's doing and be like, maybe I should have done that. But you know what? Next time, if I ever get a position in the manager seat, I will do that now. Do you understand? So yeah, that's massively important. And so you've been with Oxford City. Obviously, the season got cut short, innit? Which you must be gutted about, really.
Yeah, definitely, bro. I had just gone in there. I had 2 fixtures. I was getting I've had a couple of sessions with the lads as well. I spoke to you, actually. You rang me after just before my first session. We spoke about the plan that I was going to do. Sounded all good, foolproof, yeah. Got into the session, didn't go how I wanted it to go at all. Nerves probably got me, whatnot. The boys.
I think you're so harsh on yourself. Honest to God, like I remember that phone conversation the day before your session, and we spoke for a while. We spoke for a couple of hours. You were telling me about how you're gonna do the session, and for me that was massive. Like I was like, what? I don't know the guy. Like we've just connected.
Yeah.
We've literally just connected. It's been a week since we've connected. We've only traded a few tweets. We've just got each other's numbers. We shared a couple of messages, and he wants to share his idea, and then he's happy to get critique with it as well. And I was like, this is a good coach, because you don't find individuals who are like that. You know, ego starts to kick in into people. And with you, straight away, I was like, he's good, because not only does he want to share his ideas, which is great for me. I'm a coach. I love learning. Do you understand? But at the same time, he's ready to converse about it the right way, which means if there is some criticism in it, or not even really criticism, advice or whatever it is, but he's happy to do that. He's happy to take that criticism. He's happy to take that advice. And then the next day, when I think it was 2 days later, and I called you, and you missed my call, you called me back, and you was like, yeah, man, the session didn't go well. And then you explained everything that happened in the session and everything. And honestly, my mind was saying, he's so harsh on himself. So harsh on himself. But then I guess we are all our own biggest critics.
100%. I have got an issue like that, bro. Like even if I do my sessions with Ed and Darren at City, they'll say the same thing to me. I've always been told that I'm too harsh, but I don't know, man. Like you just need to take things away from it all the time. You always have to take something away. Do you know what I mean? You can never be satisfied in it. I can't be anyway.
Never.
So yeah, man. But that's it, bro. Like in answer to your question, it is a step up for me, and it's purely because the people I'm working with, man, and the players I'm working with. The players are good as well. Like again, down to Darren and his management of the players as well. They're a very talented bunch, but they're also very down to earth, very humble, hard working, and that's all dynamics I need to learn. Do you know what I mean? So like I'm in a good place to learn to be a manager, to learn to be a coach. Like whatever the next steps for me are, I've got 2 very good teachers. You know what I mean? And
that's amazing.
I've got a set of players who are willing to allow me to experiment and try things. My second session with the boys, I put on a activity or a 20-minute game that I had never done before. Yet they gave it everything. If it didn't go right, we talked about it, what could go better. But then when it delivered it, and it worked to be a really positive session.
I believe that. I believe that about you. I believe that you are that guy who will look for feedback from his players. I believe that 100%. Like, because just from that phone conversation, I know you are the guy who's gonna go to his players and say, right, how was that for you? Did you do it? Did you think it went well? Did you? And I'm kind of like that, you know, like I'm into kids football, and with kids football is different. I'm sure you're gonna agree with me on this. It's different. We get feedback of the kids on what they learn and stuff like that, but you never get feedback of a kid on how you were.
Yeah, of course.
That's not gonna happen. Parents are quite critical, but parents criticize anybody. I mean, we're in the competitive game, so we have weekly players dropped, players not playing. So I always tell my younger coaches, especially, I said, don't listen to that noise because that's biased noise. When they're critiquing you, it's not constructive because they're just coming at you. And if criticism isn't constructive, there's no point in giving it. I think it's better for the people to keep their mouth shut than to just criticize someone for the sake of criticizing them. And then on the other side, which is now what we're talking, the senior side, which is what you're doing. 23s, you've done the ladies senior side. You know, 23s is a senior side. I don't care what anyone says. They're not kids. They're ready to step up to the first team anytime.
Yeah.
You know, that's what their ambitions are. So when we get to that level, we can now dive into a mindset, which is, right, not only can I ask you, how did you take the session? But I can ask you, how was I in the session?
Yeah, 100%.
And that is so important for us. That's pivotal for, especially for someone like me. And I know it is with you. I don't even need to think twice about that. But even for someone like me, it's so important that sometimes you hear, like for me, my worst experience at Billericay so far, and honest to God, it's my worst experience. I was quite in the back seat, like how you are in the first team when you first got there.
Yeah.
I'm in the back seat. I'm just observing. I'm just there to learn. I'm basically the guy who picks up the cone and brings the equipment. And I do not mind at all. I'm ready to just pick up cones and put them down and learn. And the gaffer, the assistant manager, they're having a conversation, and and I'm still putting cones down. Like I've gone to them, like, what? So how do you want me to set up? Blah blah blah. I'm getting that done. They're having their little tactics talk. Not interested. Just need to get my work done. And then the gaffer goes, Rude, take them for a warm up. And like you say this to a coach. If I say to you, yo, why you take my boys for a warm up? That's bread and butter. That's what we do. That's our thing. I froze.
Of course, bro, man.
I froze. I was like, sorry, what? You want me to take these lot for warm up? Me? Nah. Yeah, take them for warm up. That's when I realized, wow, I'm the first team coach here, and I need to start acting like it. And I've taken them for warm up, and I swear to, I am not gonna lie about this. It was the worst warm up any human being can do ever. Yeah, I got, I don't know, 1,600 league appearances in this squad. Do you understand? Maybe more. I've got Premier League management. I'm doing the worst warm up you can ever think of. And I don't know what to do. It's like a frozen. It's like everything I ever known about football and about a warm up. There's no ball involved. Everything I've ever known, gone. Down the drain, kaput, finish. 10 minutes into the session, we just signed the assistant manager's son. We just signed him. Big player, massive player for us. Scored on his debut. Absolute tank of a footballer, tank of a striker. He's just what we needed. 10 minutes left in the session, and his hammy is gone. His hammy is gone.
No.
And I could start hearing things like, it was the warm up. 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 I'm gone. I am head loss finished because it's my fault. I've put it on myself now. This is my fault. It doesn't matter anything. This is my fault. So, you know, you got the gaffer, and to be fair to the gaffer and to be fair to the assistant and to be fair to the players as well, they were like, Rude, it's not your fault. It happened 10 minutes before the end of the session. Like, if hammy was going to go, they're gone early. So
Mm.
it's not. I said, yeah, but nah, the warm up is massive. Like, and I knew how bad it was, and without saying it out loud, like, I didn't want to say to anybody, yeah, I know that was a bad one, blah blah, because I didn't want to accept it at that moment. And straight away, I was like, yeah, I've done this. I'm done. And that was what was going on in my head. I'm done. My career at Billericay is over before it even started. I am done out here. Like, I've fuming, I've driven home, I ain't spoken to nobody. The next day, I messaged, obviously, the assistant manager just to make sure his son was all right, because I still felt bad, but I still didn't say, like, oh, sorry. Like, I was just like, yeah, is he okay? How long is recovery going to be? Because all of this now is on my head, you understand? And then come to Saturday, this was Thursday. So Friday, and then Saturday is game day. And we're at home. And obviously, I know Dijon is not playing, but a part of me in the drive there is like, please let him be fit. Please let him be fit. Like, I know it's not going to happen. It's a hammy, for heaven's sake, yeah? And I'm like, please let him be fit. And then when I got there, I'm like, all right, cool. I got there 4 hours early. I've done the Gaffer's tactic board. I've done the set pieces. I've got the warm up ready. I've bought resistance bands by myself. Yeah, out of my own pocket. Gone and bought resistance bands. Everything. I'm like, nah. I'm never making this mistake again. Even if it was my fault, not my fault, I don't know. But I'm not making this mistake again. And I take that one on me. You understand? When Dude was injured, I always say that was my fault because my warm up was bad, and I know my warm up was bad. But I needed that. I needed that experience. I needed that to happen because otherwise I would have just been the cone picker. I would have just been that guy who didn't want to take the next step and was happy and comfortable hiding behind these two legends of the game. Do you understand? And I think that made me stronger as a football coach. And we're talking about the simplest thing, which is a warm up. So it's massively important for even someone like you. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to make catastrophic mistakes at times. Yeah, which is no comeback from. But it's about how you rise from it. And for someone like you who's been chucked into the deep end so many times, you're going to make a mistake. And I don't think, like, my personal, this is just an advice to you. I don't think you should be so harsh on yourself, honestly. And someone like me will always be in your corner saying that to you. That don't. Obviously, if you've done something wrong, I'm going to tell you. But at the same time, I'm going to always say, I think you need that balance in you, or that room to maneuver to say, okay, look, the session didn't go the way it was supposed to, but it got delivered. I'll put it away. I'll go ahead and do the next one. And I took a little bit away from there with that story, but I just wanted to quite show to yourself and to the viewers as well that you're never comfortable in any walk of life. You understand? And these mistakes will happen, but they have to help you grow a little bit. And so far, your journey, wicked. Like, I've only come into your life for a short period of time, but so far, wicked. Every conversation I have with you is massive. And I want to touch on the future a little bit because, and this is not Oxford City, this is now coming back to your development center and your youngsters. Going off the conversations we've had, what's your ambition with them? Are you happy to just continue to stay as a development side, or do you want to become competitive?
Yeah, 100%. Like, we need to take these kids another level. Bar them going to an academy, they should be with us as long as we can get it until they get to an academy. So some of our kids are going from us to other development centres who can offer competitive football. So obviously that's great because they're now playing regularly at a higher level of competition, which is definitely good for their development. But I would argue that their sessions, they can be as good with us. So the big thing for me is, and the next steps for us is, we've got to take our development centre and it needs to enter some sort of high quality league. Whether that be the JPL, whether that be something else. We just need a high quality league where we are weekly playing against good quality opposition, so that we are completing the process really of fulfilling their development. We're doing the whole thing now. And to be fair, like, these boys have been with us for quite a while now. If they had to, I could imagine a lot of our kids, because they gel just as well with us as they maybe do with their grassroots side, wouldn't be adverse to coming over to us and doing more things with us and playing games with us as well. But to be fair, like, I don't know, it's something for us to explore. Like, can we find like a midweek league where they can play midweek games and train midweek with us, and then carry on playing on the weekends with us? I don't know, but we certainly need to look at competing regularly at a high level, not just playing the odd friendly every kind of 6 weeks. That's definitely the next step for us.
Nah, that's good to hear, because I need to ask this. I don't like touching the subject, but I have to, because we can't go away from what we are. You're an Asian football coach. Can you hear me, yeah?
Yeah, sorry, it went for a second, yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. You're an Asian football coach. You live in Oxford. What is the Asian scene like out there?
For football?
For football, yeah.
For playing football with your mates, leisure league, or booking a venue and getting 50 people together, yeah? Perfect. There's so much passion and love for playing football. Some of my lads, they will play 3 times a week. They will pay £2 here, £3 there, £4 there, and they'll spend £10 a week easy, £40 a month easy, go and play football 2-3 different places a week. But if you're talking about getting involved in a grassroots game, getting involved in mainstream football where they're in competitions and leagues, etc., at any level, youth, adult, whatever, that's almost non-existent, man, to be honest.
Wow. Why do you think
I'm working with, so I work with the FA, and I do like introduction to coaching workshops for BAME individuals.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Before they go on the level 1, they come in, we talk a little bit about what the level 1 would offer, what coaching can offer, and then I'll just take them through very basic coaching practices just to get them in the mood for coaching, a bit like how my level 1 did for me, or how my level 2 did for me. So just a little something to give them a bit of inspiration. But to be honest with you, like, I don't know. I mean, I've sat with the FA and I've sat with Kick It Out, and we've had conversations about increasing the level of coaches, but just increasing like the level of participation from our community and other communities, minority communities. But it's just difficult, man. Like, what I found is most of my boys love to go and play football, love to do it, but just not in a league setting or at a club. It's just between their own community almost, or it is a bit mixed. There'll be a few English lads, there might be a few European lads or whatever, but I don't know if it's like a safer zone or what. But what
about in the younger age brackets? I mean, kids love football. Like, surely they must be playing now.
Yeah, I would say so. Like, I would say that the same way I got into football as a youngster, because of my brother who was born here, my parents weren't, but my brother was. He understood there was such thing as grassroots football, so he could bring me to it. And I'm sure that my brother's age group, so those who are kind of, I'm sure you won't want me saying around that late 30, 40 age group, yeah.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with being in the 30s, please.
Some of us are still, mid-20s and that, you know what I mean?
Cool. Say no more.
But that generation, or that those parents who were born here and who have kids who are kind of 6, 7, 8 are much more happier taking their kids to like extracurricular clubs, isn't it? Whether that be football.
What about in terms of
swimming, whatever it may be?
Yeah. What about in terms of your area though? Like, are you like the only Asian company, or is there multiple? Are there other companies competing? What's the setting like?
Nah, man, I'm the only Asian coach that I know in Oxford, bro.
You serious?
I know of one other person who's just got into his coaching now, which I'm so glad he did, and I've known him for a long time. He's similar age to my brother, he got involved because his boy is playing for that team, which is typical of how so many people get into grassroots football as a coach. But I don't know any other Asian coaches, man. Truth be told. And if you're talking about clubs, there's one guy who's running a side who's BAME. I can't remember what ethnicity he is, but he's the only other BAME coach or club, because majority of the kids in that club are BAME as well. That's the only one I can think of, man.
What about your club though? What's this? If we're talking about figures and numbers, is your club predominantly made of BAME background kids?
No, no.
Wow.
Which I find interesting, to be honest. I thought, I never thought we would not attract people who are like British, but I always thought parents, and I know a lot of the Asian community in Oxford, I would have just thought parents would have come to me because they know me or they know of me or whatever, and I'm relatable because we're from the same community or whatever. But actually, bro, no, man. Like, if I think of our development centre, there's not one kid who's Asian.
Wow.
In our development centre, not one. We've got BAME kids, but
yeah, of course. So yeah, but I want to talk about the Asian market, man. Like, what's going on? Like, what kids in Asian kids in Oxford don't play football? Say, what's going on, man?
Bro, do you know what they do? There's, as with many cities, there's particular areas that are more Asian heavy, if you like, in terms of the population or the percentage of the population. I guess it's not the area we do operate out of that particular area that I'm thinking of. But I don't know what it is, man. To be honest with you, there is. Like, if I go into schools and we're going in and we deliver a football club or we're doing PE lessons, there's loads of kids who come in their grassroots tops and that. So they are around, but they're just playing grassroots football, which is not what we're doing, and we're priced out of the grassroots market as well. So what someone would pay for a season of grassroots football here, we're probably charging that in 3 months, 4 months. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, but you're also providing and you're also bridging that gap from grassroots football to academy football. So the service you're providing is, sorry to say it, to grassroots football, but it's better than what grassroots football is going to give you. And I'm not knocking grassroots football. Many boys have been signed from grassroots football clubs. I'm a grassroots football club, so I can't really knock grassroots football clubs because I'm one of them. But at the same time, we do have elite centres. We have elite sessions, and yeah, the price goes up because of the intensity. It's not about being better. The intensity of the session is very, very similar to what an academy looks like, and we're trying to bridge that gap, like you said. But I'm very shocked at those numbers, by the way, man. I'm very, very shocked at that. Like, it's given me thought process. Obviously, knowing you, knowing what you're doing, knowing your journey now. Hopefully, the people of Oxford actually watch this. People who know you hopefully get spread around in your area, and they see your journey and they see what you're doing, and they bring your kids to you, because not just Asian, but because we are Asian coaches, we're trying to promote Asians within the game. We're ambassadors for Asians in the game. And we want to see Asian representation at all levels of football. You've got a role model there. Do you understand? Like, when I look at you, you're a role model to these youngsters. You, not only to the youngsters, but to the parents as well. Like you said, you're from the same community. Then at the end of the day, they have whatever their mind was before, whatever that mindset was 20 years ago, 10 years ago, it's not the same mindset anymore. Do you understand? Like, yes, racism exists. Racism exists in a minority. The majority of people now, we will give Asian boys a chance. They'll give Asian boys a chance. Look at yourself. You've been given such a fantastic chance at such a great club. Do you understand? And I mean it when I say to you, I want to see you in a dugout with the first team. Because then at least I know somebody on the opposite bench, innit? Because I would never know anyone. Yeah, it's always nice to see some. But yeah, nah, man, it's given me thought. Maybe something we can discuss later on, like something we can do within the Oxford area. Because where we come from, predominant Asian community, and my club predominant Asian. So, you know, when I have that conversation with people, I'm like, what are you talking about, man? There's participation everywhere. I see it every single day. What are you on about? But now hearing your side, I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. Maybe it's not. Maybe we need to do more. Maybe we as a community, we need to do more. Maybe we need to go out and educate and promote and media, and you know all about that stuff. So, yeah, I think there's definitely work that we can do in that area. We're building a team right now. Nothing official, but we're building like a team of Asian people who are in sports, coaching roles, medical teams, stuff like that. And I think you would be brilliant to bring into that circle, because we could help you the same way you could help us, kind of thing.
Yeah, 100, man.
Nah, that's brilliant. That's absolute quality. But listen, what's the aim for the future, man? Your personal, not for the academy or so, but for yourself. What's your aim for the future, man?
Well, I take it as it comes, but I feel like my journey is just doing this at the minute. And like I said, there's highs and lows in that, but the knowledge and the understanding I'm getting and the exposure I'm getting is good. Do you know what I mean? And it's continually improving for me. I feel like the exposure I'm getting right now is the best I've ever had it. So I'm just riding that wave, to be honest, man. Like, I'll take as much information as I can in from these knowledgeable and experienced coaches that I'm working alongside or working with. At the minute, I would say that I probably won't manage again, man. But you never know. Like, there's a part of me that really enjoyed it as well. Do you know what I mean? And did love doing it. But certainly, man, like, the short-term goals are just taking as much as I can, be hands-on as much as I can, as much as I'm. And again, these boys, they give me the license to roam and have a crack at sessions and design and this and that. So just better myself as a coach and as a manager, man manager. Understanding my philosophies a bit more, learning a bit about what I want the game to look like a bit more. It's already changed. In the time I've been with the U23s, I've already got differences in how I want us to play, or how I envisage the game to be played, just in the last month or so that I've been there. So I'm still developing who I am as a coach and what my philosophies or principles of football look like. And then obviously long term, and I wanna take that somewhere, hopefully somewhere higher up, man. Really, I want to be involved at the highest level I can. Do you know what I mean? I don't know what that will be. This may be my peak, bro. Do you know what I mean? I don't know, but God has the plan. But I'm just riding the wave, man, and trying my best in it, man. So
that's quality, man. I wish you. I'm here. I'm gonna be following your journey the whole way. You understand? We're gonna liaise. We're gonna work together in the future. Hopefully, we can work side by side. Who knows? Listen, anything can happen in this game. Will we ever see a all Asian dugout? We don't know. We don't know. It could happen. Do you understand? It could happen. And we just got to keep communicating. It's pleasure for me to bring more of that exposure on you, because you deserve it. You're doing some good things, especially in a little area like Oxford, which not many people actually focus on. Do you understand? People don't focus on like non-major cities like that. And sometimes it's good to bring the focus on people like you in those cities. And now, like, hearing what you said as well, I think there will be conversations that come off the back of this now, because people will be sitting there thinking, "Rah, we need to go and help this brother out, not leave him there on his own, kind of like just holding. What's going on here? Like, what's happening? Is that nice? These are the kind of things that happen from things like this, and that's what the whole point of this. It's not about million viewers. I'll keep saying it, and I'll keep saying it. I do not care. Obviously, if the video goes viral, I'm not going to complain. But
I ain't either.
Yeah, they understand. But at the same time, it ain't about how many views you get. It's about the quality of views. So who watches it and what conversations come off the back of it. So hopefully we can generate some conversation from the back of this. Before you go, you know what I'm going to ask you. Everyone prepares. I'm getting sick and tired of it now. You're the manager. You've been a manager. You're a coach. You've been a manager. You get a budget. You get choice of 2 players, but you can only pick one: Ronaldo or Messi.
Bro, I'm Ronaldo, man.
Yes! Yes! Oh, I'm so happy. You know, when someone says Ronaldo there, I get so happy. Do you know why? You know, everyone who comes on here, they see the Ronaldo top, then the subconscious starts playing games with them. Then I ask them a question, and they're like, Messi. And it vexes me, bro. Vexes me. vexes me, bro. Why Ronaldo? Why Ronaldo? What's your
I
reason?
don't know, man. I can't tell you, bro. Like,
It's
they
just
both.
because he's the better looking one. Just say how he is, bro.
No, bro, might be something to do with it. I don't know.
Nah, that's my.
In his career at Man United, bro, he did bits in it. He did bits.
He done bits everywhere he went. To be fair, he's an animal of a football player. Do you understand? Like if like, I've got a son 5 years old, if I can get my son to have like, half the attributes of that guy, I've done well. Do you get me? Because he's just he's different gravy. Do you get me? But yeah, nah, man, it's been a pleasure talking to you. You've been a superstar. You are gonna have a very good career in the game, and I can't wait to watch your journey. And be part of it. I'm here to ride the wave as well, man. You understand? I'm here for that. But yeah, no, absolute pleasure, guys. You know what to do. Like, share, subscribe. Watch it. Make sure there's conversation going off the back of this. Us guys in a circle who'll be watching this, like guys off my WhatsApp groups and stuff like that. Boys, get your heads together and let's go help this guy out in his community as well. Let's help our community, but let's go help him out in his community as well because they need it seems like. I hope you don't mind me saying that. But yeah, absolute pleasure. Right, I'll speak to you very, very shortly. Guys, until the next episode, peace.